And this was a very surprise for us. We were going, and this car driver told us, "There's nothing, sir. This is, you just see and come." So we didn't even take our gear. Such a beautiful Jaina cave just on the outskirts, and this cave was embellished. It was ornamented. The ceiling, the roof, the wall, everything had designs, and those designs were amazingly carved. நீ சொல்ற பல்ராஜ்.
Mogal Rajpuram and most of these Vishnukudan's work are around Vijayawada region. How many people are from Vijayawada, the Rayalaseema region? None of you? Okay. These are probably much earlier than what we saw from Chalukyas or around that same period. But not as complex as what we see in Chalukyas. Simpler cells, but you have one of them as you move on. You see, typically this is a pattern followed by the Pallavas also later. What you see as Kudu, just go back. The windows kind of stuff which you see, circular arches, are actually depicting a window. The tower or gopuram that you see is supposed to be the house of the god, and there are various windows, and the minor goddesses are looking through it. So that's the depiction that is being made. It's a Kudu. You will see this across in various temples, even in structural temples. So that's the depiction there. They are watching out for you. Okay. And here you see the corbels, the pillar, the corbels. They are these kind of corbels are called fluted corbels. Okay, the curve that you see here called fluted. So initially they were made just to hold on to the weight, and then they started creating some ornamentation around it. Later dates you see actually this changes to be a Varapu or a plantain flower kind of structure coming out, because no more it was the weight bearing or the load bearing need was there, it was purely ornamental. So what started as an engineering piece now later converts slowly, the design shifts, just becomes an ornamentation piece. Undavalli caves. This is also very close by within the Vijayawada city or around Vijayawada city. This is a 3-tiered which is unique. See, it is carved. We have seen similar in Ellora, but this is much earlier to it. And these are, the tiers do not come outside, meaning they are outside of the caves. The caves, external stairs. Unlike what you see in Ellora, where the stairs are also carved as part of the structure. Here the stairs are outside the structure. The Dwarapalaka, or the door guardians that you would see symbolically in every temple, you can see they have perfected the way to represent the foot. He is holding a large club. This is the Vishnu that was carved onto the Seshashayi, carved onto the mother rock. So imagine how they would have designed the whole thing. Again, point to note is the Brahma here. If you typically see a Seshashayi, the Brahma comes from the navel of Vishnu, but it was not so. Brahma is depicted on the wall separately, and the stem of the lotus just goes beneath and not to the navel. So the navel, Brahma arising from the navel, Padmanabha, is a later date addition or innovation being done. Pallava claim. So we now come to Tamil Nadu, Mandagapatta. This is the earliest, or at least claimed by Mahendra as the earliest cave temple in Tamil Nadu. Of course, we also have Pilliyarpatti, which is slightly earlier than this, or much earlier than this. But here, what he does is he first states, I am doing this temple without any perishable brick or wood and creating a structure. This brickless, timberless, metalless and motorless abode of Lakshita was caused to be made by King Vichitra Chitta for Brahma and Ishvara and Vishnu. Vichitra Chitta. What that is how he calls himself Mahendra. Mahendra had very many titles called Birudas. நீங்கள் நம்ம புருடா சொல்கிறதுல Birudas. Basically, it's all his titles. He had so many such titles. Mandagapatta. These are the Dwarapalakas of Mandagapatta. What you see here is a personification of the trident and the axe. This is the axe personification, trident personification. So, actually, the weapons of Shiva are becoming the Dwarapalakas or the door guardians and being. This is Lalitagriva, Trichy Upper Cave. This is one of the most important here. This is the place where Mahendra declares that he was earlier a Jain, has now converted himself to a Hindu, and he states that in this as part of the inscription which is written here. And this is a beautiful panel of Gangadhara, Shiva as Gangadhara. What do you understand by Gangadhara? Correct. Huh?
Shiva, from Shiva's head, Ganga originates from Shiva.
Ganga comes down to earth from heaven because Bhagirath does a penance. And to hold so that the earth doesn't break, it has to fall on Shiva's head, and through his locks they flow down. So this is how he catches. He doesn't have to fall on his head. One of his lock is good enough for Ganga to be received. So that's depicted here. And these are people who are in complete amazement of seeing such a great act happening. And here is the Muelaka or Apasmara as they would call, who's the dwarf personification of ignorance, which is being crushed by Shiva. And here you see an animal howling. Why? Because there is a heavenly activity, like when there is a tsunami or an earthquake, the dogs and other animals go crazy and they howl, and that is shown here. So these are lower caves in Trichy, mostly attributed to Pandyas. There are 3 such caves here. This is one of them. Here we have an interesting panel on meaning 2 or 3 separate cells made, and all Vinayaka, Shiva, Vishnu, early form of. This is not even early, but later in Samabanga is showing Mahishasuramadini, Brahma. This is Shiva, and this is Vishnu. Okay, so the pillars now here this slide we are trying to tell you the difference between the pillars, the corbels, how they become ornamented over the period. The earliest simple, they were load bearing, a simple square, a hexagon, back to square. Now what do they call it here? Saduram, which is basically a square. Now Kattu, it is now started being, then they start making Bandha and Padma. This starts looking like a lotus flower, ornamentation comes in. This is a Kalasa, which is nothing but pot, and then it Podi, and then Kumbha, and then Vrikshavan. So Shatrumalleswaram Dalavanur. This is again a Mahendra cave. This is also close to Senchi. Sanji, here, close by, Thiruvannamalai. So this is the front. So you see the carve. These are the frontage. The facade is carved outside, and as you enter, earlier temples were simple, where you had a mandapa, and then the rear to it was the cell. Here they just changed the axis. You had a plan here, you had a Mukhamandapa, then a cell, and here is the sanctum. So they changed the orientation of the main shrine. So they're trying different models or different scheme as on the evolution. So in In this, you will see the lingam coming in as part of the base, as part of the mother rock. This is the upper Dalavanur. Okay. Tirukazhikundram. On the way, Tirukazhikundram has two temples. One on the lower, or on the plains, and then as you climb Tirukazhikundram, there is on the way there is one single cellular cave temple, and upper there is a structural temple. The linga, the cave. This was actually, you can see inscriptions from Rajaraja and Rajendra, though the temples were initially constructed during the Pallava regime. What happens in their inscription, they state, not only they reinstate what grants that were offered to the temple by the Pallavas, but in addition, they also make additional grants.
So now, what's interesting here is you have a Vishnu. Now, in his hand, he has a conch, and what kind of discus? Prayoga. So, before, it's Pallava, so it's between 6, 7, 8, 9, because after mid 9, it becomes Chola. So, you can narrow the date for this cave just on stylistic grounds to around the 7th, 8th centuries by just seeing this Prayoga Chakra. Come on. Now, on this side, all these, but the only problem with this cave is the key is in Mahabalipuram. So, next time you go, you have to go to ASA Mahabalipuram, take the person to open it. Now, what is interesting is, on their chests, there are inscriptions in Portuguese. This cave was occupied by a lot of foreigners, a lot of our temples were used, including Elephanta, as target practice. They used to use them for target practice. So there are deep inscriptions. Pala. Tell. 1681. So you have a lot of these inscriptions vandalizing on them. Keep going. Pardon? Yeah, it's basically the names of the soldiers. So this is the temple on top of the hill that Arvind mentioned. This is again a Rajasima period temple. It's not an excavated cave. He just kept 3 rocks together to make the sanctum. And it's got some fantastic reliefs in the inside which are yet to be documented. Nobody has painted that, got them. These sculptures on the outside. So this is actually the slab's outer portion, which has got a beautiful Shiva, Veenadhara Shiva reclining on a Nandi, and Somaskanda. Most Pallava temples, the inner sanctum had a Somaskanda, which basically means Shiva, Parvati and Skanda seated. So you have Shiva here, Parvati here, and in between you will have Skanda seated, which you will see a little later when you go ahead. Yeah, there. So here is again Sadashiva on the other side. The better protected version is on the inner sanctum, which we don't see. Now this is a very beautiful site, Mahendravadi. Imagine this is carved almost like a egg shell. It's just a single block of stone, and they have carved this in entirety to form a shrine. This is an amazing site. It's just 1.5 hours from Chennai, and all these that you're seeing now is all like you can do it in half a day. I mean, each one will be half a day for us. So this is how it looks. It's an amazing structure. It looks like somebody's built a room. But imagine the amount of effort that have gone to visualize this rock and having to hollow out this entire rock to create a temple for it. And we go and see the earliest dancing form of Shiva. This is Siyamangalam. Is another Pallava temple, which is now cave temple, which is now being heavily built upon. So all these shrines that you see are later additions, but the inner core cave is still there, and there you see the first dancing form of Shiva ever is in this cave. 600 to 630 you see Shiva, and this is with flash. You see him, the hand is still not come to his pose, so the hand is still there, so it's still some refinement happening. So that's why I didn't call him the Nataraja. It's a dancing form of Shiva. You have the Gana playing the drum, you have the snake, you have the Parasu, and the fire there, and you have a Gana praying. On this is a pilaster, so it's a part of a pillar sculpture, and then you have Shiva, Uma, and between them a beautiful bull, and the way they are standing again, Tribanga. This is again a beautiful cave, anonymous. We call it in Sigavaram. It's a wonderfully Sayana Perumal. Unfortunately, these bronzes were stolen 2 years ago. We don't know where they are. So these 3 bronzes are stolen. Go. They are not yet in the market. We know they are stolen. They will come up somewhere. So now, this is an early form of Vishnu Durga, and you see the stylistic representation. She is standing triumphantly on the head of Mahisha, and then you see the Prayoga Chakra. So classic Pallava styling, and the way she is standing, the legs, they are slightly elongated. If you really look the anatomical form, the legs are elongated. So that Vishnu Durga. Well, she is with conch and discus. So it's a form of Durga, but we call her Vishnu Durga. And this is another single cell cave, slightly poor iconography in terms of proportions. And then there is another set of caves in Mamandur. Here, not much iconography, but this is where we get to know that Mahendra Pallava was a fantastic musician. He composed a lot of plays and music in inscriptions in this cave. It's just outside Kanchipuram, is about 11 kilometers from Kanchipuram. We are going to see the last masterpiece. So far we have seen a lot of cave temples. Now we are going to see a trench temple in Tamil Nadu. A lot of people don't even know it is there. It's a place called Kalugumalai Vettuvan Koil.
About 20 kilometers from Kovilpatti.
20 kilometers from Kovilpatti. Now you see there is part of the hill, rock. You see the small structure there. We go near. Some more. And that's how it is. Now, when you look at this, this looks like somebody has left the job half done, right? Yes, it is half done. But if you see the engineering sketch, you realize the amount of perfection that's gone into it. Now, this is carved out of the original rock, and we'll now spend a little more time in trying to understand how each of the tiers of this temple have been envisioned. So that's how the cutout view looks. So this part till here is excavated. Here they have not finished it. So it's left unfinished here. And here we will go one by one and see each of the tiers and see the ornamentation that is there. So I'm not going to go into the specifics of all this, but I want you to see the ornamentation and understand that this is again not stuck on. All these are actually part of the original rock. So including these designs, they had to leave it on the rock. Now this is just a comparison of the Draupadi Ratha in Mahabalipuram. Go on. Keep going. So this is the second row that you see here. Yeah. And here you see a wonderful, yeah. And now all these bulls are also original rock, not separately kept. So all these, so this entire piece is one rock, and you have all these designs. So each of these are, you should consider it as one row. And you have Mridanga Dakshinamurti. This is Shiva. So that's the antelope and the axe. He plays the drum. And you have Apasmara. This Apasmara is a delightful character. Imagine this guy is like somebody who's been caught with his marks down and still smiling at his father. See, Shiva is stamping him down and he's so ignorant, he's still playing with a snake. What will a snake do? He'll bite, but he still plays. So he's going to get caught. So that's the epitome of ignorance, is apasmara. And now who is this? Narasimha with Prayoga Chakra. So again it's pre-10th century. So you have the Prayoga Chakra. So that's one attribute. Polam. So here you have Shiva and Parvati seated in a very casual posture, and here you see the antelope of Shiva on the hand. So the antelope is delightful. If you go to bronzes, when you have time, we will see that. And you should see these bulls, no? So natural depiction. Brahma. And you see, even they have depicted the tongue of the bell, no? What you go on, the knocker on the bell, even that they have depicted again out of the original rock. Go on. And that's just a comparison of the bull in Mahabalipuram. Just keep going. Just update Jain poidu. Update 30 Jain poidu. These Ganas also are fantastic guys. No, each of them laughing lions, playful. These two are seated, looking inward, playing again with snakes, playing the tawil. Oh, poidu. Update Jain poidu. Jain odu nirthru. No, on the major piece poidu. Yeah. So nearby there are ancient Jain reliefs dated to the 5th and 6th centuries. Wonderful depiction. Lot of Jain reliefs are there. The life stories. No, one po and the Manga Ambiga. Yeah, this is a very popular story. So what happens is this lady gets a mango and she keeps it for her husband. The husband wants to take bath and comes, he's gone to the river. As he comes nearby, a saint comes and this lady gives the mango off. So the husband comes back, mango is not there, he doubts his wife. So this lady goes and gets herself, saying anybody who looks at me henceforth will be burnt. So the husband looks at her and he gets burnt. So that's what he's shown here. And this is a modern version. We have a Tamil version, the Hindu version as well, Karekal Ammayar, who gets older, so it's a slight variant. We go on. So that's where we end with Kalgumalai. And now we open up for question and answer sessions. And later date, maybe one day Arvind will come and do the bronzes for you. Any questions so far? And then we throw it open to the house. Pardon? The first cave, Ajivikas. The Roma Rishi is Ajivika sect. The Ajivikas were followers of a certain sect which is now extinct. So, Ajivikas.
Students who have a question, the cordless will be passed to you. Raise your hands if you have a question.
What is the name of the religion that you said that we almost forgot in the...
Ajivikas, there's a religion that was predating Buddhism in the 4th and 5th centuries BC, which is now extinct. Ajivikam. Any other questions? Looks like a long day. Long day. Good.
I would now like to call upon our principal, sir, Mr. P. Nagarajan, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to all. Dear students, how was the session?
I think you're all immersed in the amount of information provided by Mr. Vijay and Mr. Aravind. It's a great journey today afternoon. It's mind-boggling to see all the details which he has been providing from yesterday. Yesterday it was a wonderful session where we had a lot of interaction with our students. I think you're all in a thinking process now about the information provided by him. I'm greatly privileged and honored to present the vote of thanks for this evening presentation about the artistic Indian tradition and the temple art. It's my pleasure, and also I'm really thankful for Mr. Vijay and also Mr. Aravind to be in our midst to give this valuable presentation. I'm really thankful, and let us all give a round of applause for these two gentlemen over here. A good round of applause for them. I just want to bring some more information. Mr. Vijay and Mr. Aravind, they are doing this service. It's a kind of a service. It's not part of their job. And they want to bring this awareness to all kinds of students. Bring the information to create the art-loving spirit among students, and also the tradition of India. And also, much more important thing is the details. When we go to a temple or any place of worship, we just go and, as he says, we just go and make our worship and return. Instead of, there are a lot of effort from our sculptures and artists over a period of time which we have forgotten that. So we have to be with a keen eye whenever we pass by or go into a temple to see all these facts. I'm really thankful and truly honored, dear Mr. Vijay and Mr. Aravind. And a few information about Mr. Aravind in a short. His mission as a photographer is to cover the entire Chola temple over like 2000 years. He has been doing extensive research on that and been traveling widely to cover, get the images. See, every image which has been presented today speaks volumes and volumes. I think after this 2-hour session, I think everybody, we can write a book about the temple architecture of what they have presented today. It is really wondering, we are all in a wonderment that he has presented loads of information today. I'm thankful for that. I'm equally grateful and honored because our vice chairman, who was given time to come in our midst, shows the interest towards the art and culture. This is kind of for us to imbibe, to take that part of interest. A learning can happen every moment in life. And also our correspondent ma'am, she's been keen in bringing ideas, experts and also eminent personalities in our midst to enrich the process of learning. This is really interesting for us, and I'm also new to this school. I'm seeing a great many new things happening here, all because to create that climate and environment in the school where you learners learn many more things in our daily life, that is your school life. And also I would like to thank Mrs. Neena Kothari and Mr. Anand, our well-wishers of the school, to be part of this function, the presentation, and all my colleagues, the team, coordinators, our chief program coordinator, teachers, students for this function. Let us all thank each other, and also the members today who have come and presented the detailed work of our art. Let us not forget all these things. I am truly thankful to one and all. Thank you very much.
Now I request all of you to stand up for the school song. Our school song titled Bharata Desha Hitaya, set in Ragam Desh, Talamadi, composed by Pujya Swamiji Dayanand Saraswati.
Bharat Desha Hitaya, भरदादि महामति सेविता भारत देश हिताय भरदादि महामति सेविता भारत देश हिताय आसेतु हिमाचल वनगिरि जन संरक्षणाय वनगिरि जन संरक्षणाय वनगिरि जन संरक्षणाय गुरुसेवात्वं 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 गुरुसेवां भारत देश हिताय